Hello everyone, this is Miriam. Today we are going to paint a white flower and I will guide you step by step. But first let me show you the materials we are going to use today. We are going to use some masking fluid, as you can see here, because I'm going to mask out the flower so we can make a very interesting dark background. We are going to use different sizes of brushes. I have a number 12, a number 6 and a number 2 brush here. These are the ones I use the most and I'm quite happy about these. They are all nature hair brushes. Then I've grabbed some salt. Perhaps we're going to use this, I don't know yet. I also have a little bit of white gouache and also some white ink, and we'll see if we will use that later on. Then of course you need your watercolors and some water and a cloth to dab your brush on. Yes, but let's begin. I forgot to mention that I'm using 300 grams watercolor paper, and of course we're also going to need some masking tape, or to tape down your paper to a board or your table. And I've made the painting a square painting, and you can size up and you can size down. That's what you prefer. It could be quite a pretty card as well if you sized it down a bit. But anywho, let's get started with the painting. When I'm using masking fluid, I'm always using a old brush, and then I have this bar of soap, and then I wet my brush and rub it on the soap, because this will protect the brush when you're going to apply the masking fluid on the paper. So like this, and I put my masking fluid into this old milk carton lid, and then I just go ahead and apply the masking fluid. And then we allow the masking fluid to dry completely before we continue with the painting. Okay, so now it's time to have some fun with our watercolor. I'm using my big size 12 brush, and I begin with wetting the paper. Because we are going to work wet in wet to begin with. And then I begin with dropping in some of the yellow color. We will have this in different places in the background. It's other flowers that's in the background. So, and then we will continue with an olive green. And I always begin with the lightest color, and then I make the color darker and darker. So in watercolors we go from light to dark. And I'm just dabbing it in. And I allow the paints to flow together. But we are a little bit careful around the yellow areas because we don't want them to disappear. I think I will just go in with a little more of the yellow so it's a little bit stronger. And then I continue with the undersea green. And this is a tutorial on how to paint white flowers, and part of that is that around the petals here we put in a dark color, because this will make the petals pop and you can see the white leaves. Because if the background is too light, the leaves will disappear. So we have to put darker colors here in the background around all the petals. I continue to call them leaves, but they are petals, so please bear with me. And if you like, you can go in with some water drops to make interest in the background. You can also use salt. That can also give a very good effect. And for now I will allow this to dry, and then we will come back and see if we think the background needs a little more. It's because watercolor always dry up lighter, so sometimes it's a good idea to allow it to dry and see. But before we do that, I think I will apply some salt. It's just regular table salt. Okay, and then we just let this dry, and then I will come back. Okay, so now everything is dry, and I'm just dusting off the salt, and then we will continue with the painting. And I believe I want to darken it a little bit. The salt didn't have a very big effect, but you can see it a little bit in the background here, so I think that's quite nice. So I will again wet the background, because I still want everything to flow nicely together and I don't want any hard edges. And when we are going to paint the petals, I'm going to paint it with a blue. So I think I will just drop in some of the blue color in the background as well, because we do want that color to be other places than just in the flower. So I'll just drop in a little hint here and there so we get this color in the background as well. I think this yellow color is a little bit too dominating up here, so I'm going to drop in some sap green. If I use this at all, I think I'm going in with the undersea green instead. So we will let everything dry again, and then I will come back. And I just forgot that I wanted to put some salt in as well on this layer, so we'll just give it a go again. Okay, so now everything is completely dry, and we got quite a nice textured background. So the next step is to remove all the masking fluid. I just gently rub my finger like this and remove the masking fluid. Okay, so now I have removed all the masking fluid, and I can see here that there's an area where it didn't cover. So I'll just try and see if I can make this area lighter with putting water on, and then rub it gently with my brush, and then try and use some kitchen roll to pick up some of the colors, just to soften it a bit. The third step of the painting is to begin to put some color on this white flower. And you know, nothing is ever really just white. So I have decided that I will add some shadows with my blue color. So I mix up a very watery mix of a blue color. This is cerulean blue, and then I will use that as shadow areas on the flower. And now I can see I have a pencil line here that I want to remove, so I will just do that before I begin to paint. And then I go in with my light blue color, and I just put it along the outer edge here. And then I go in with a damp brush and soften the edge. And then I will continue with this leaf up here. And another thing you can do is to wet the petal before you go in with the color, then the color will just flow. Then you can just dab in the color. And you could make this blue color a little bit purple as well. So I think I will grab some blue and a little bit of red. I think I'll take some of my Listen Crimson and just make it a purple color. And then I can drop that in as well. Yeah, I'll just do it along the edge. And you may think that the color is quite dark, but so are the shadows sometimes on a white flower. So and we'll just soften that a little bit with a damp, clean brush. Could drop in a little bit of the purple over here as well. And then I will continue like that on all the petals, and some petal will be darker, those in front, and those in the back, like this one and this one, I will keep very light. And here I can see I have an area that needs to be the background color, so I will just paint that in as well. And I will wet this petal and drop in the blue color. And I will just work like that from petal to petal. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what to do when you have an edge here on the white flower. but you actually have to do the same as you do with the background. You have to make the edge darker. So I will just wet the area, and then I will go in with my purple color along the edge here, because this will define the edge of the petal, like that. So you are able to see that there is another petal here. Now I'm just softening the edges a little bit. And I do that everywhere where I can see there's an edge. Then I will go in with the darker purple color, also up here, because then you can define the petals of the flower. So I will just continue and do that on all the petals. Okay, so now I have defined all the edges, and then we have these really bright petals on the flower, and I will just give them a very watery blue mix of color. I do not want that to be very dark, and go in just like this. Then we have this area, and in the reference photo it's a bit blurry. It's a mix between the white petal and the green background. So I have to figure out what to do here. But we have this very hard edge all around from the background, and I will grab my large brush, and then I will try to soften the edges a bit. And it's okay if we get green into this white, because it's like that on the reference photo. So I will just soften this as good as I can. Here you can choose to just try and fix it the best you can with watercolors, but you could also go in with some gouache in this area if you prefer, but it's up to you how you work. I will give it a go with just watercolor and see if I can make it look okay. So here I go in with the blue I've used to the petals, and the area is still wet. Then I will go in with my undersea green and just allow these two to flow together. And then I will go in with some of my pearline green, the very dark green, but I'll just make it a bit watery. Just dab it in like this. Hence a yellow deep I'm going in with. Okay, so now the whole area is wet, and then I will go in with some sap green, and just dab it in. I will pick up some olive green as well. Okay, so we will just allow that to dry, and while that's drying, we can continue with the ladybug. I thought it could be quite fun to have a little insect in the painting. And I'm going to use my Pure Scarlet to give the ladybug the first layer of paint. And I will just water it down. But the ladybug has quite a bright red color, so then while this is still wet, I will put in some permanent alizarin crimson to darken it a little bit here on top of the ladybug. Okay, so we will just allow that to dry, and this needs to dry a little further as well, so I'll come back in a little bit. So now I have switched to my size 2 brush, and I'm going to paint the rest of the ladybug, and I will use my this is called Jane's Gray. You can use Payne's Gray or black, whatever you prefer, but I just want the color to be quite dark, and so I will paint the dots on the ladybug, and here I will only paint half the dot because there's some light hitting, so I will go in with a blue color, and I will do the same here, just half the dot, and then I will pick up some of my cerulean blue, and I will mix in a little bit of the gray as well, and I will just dab it in here. I think that looks quite nice now. And then you have to decide if you want to make a little bit more definition in this area. I think I will go in with some of that red and green mix and make a little bit more definition here. And I will allow this to dry, and then I'll go in and glaze this area a little bit as well. Okay, so I think this needs a little more color, so I have mixed up some sap green with some water, and then I will just glaze it. I'll just go over it like this with sap green. And I want to darken this area up a bit, so I will grab some of my undersea green. Perhaps a little bit of shadow here in the bottom of the, I don't know what you call this. And I will go in with some, picked up some of the perylene green and some of the sap green. And I could see a little bit of splatter up here perhaps with the perylene green. Yes, quite like that. Yes, but this is how I paint white flowers. I hope you could use this tutorial and get inspired, and you know, the rule or whatever you can call it is that you paint dark around the petals so they will pop because they're white. And then you can go in on the petal and with a blue, light blue color and a bit of shadow color. I've also seen some use a gray color, so you can also do that. I preferred in this painting to have a purple color here because I have yellow, and these are complementary colors on the color wheel, so I know they will go well together. And also the red ladybug go well with the green color for the same reason. So now we have some colors that look good together here in this painting. Yeah, and we also painted a ladybug. I think that's quite cute. You can always make a completely different background. Just make sure that it's darker than the white petals. Yes, and now I will remove the masking tape and then we'll see how everything looks. And there you go, the finished painting. But thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye!